we go. It's a wild ride. As
Nailed it. Nailed it.
Repeat into an oblivion. All right, here we are. It is a good old best of 5 in the bottom left-hand side of the map. He's the Korean Protoss, Hurricane.
And in the top right, he is the French Protoss player, PtitDrogo. There we go, there we go. Ready to rock. Chicken likes your dashboard.
Thank you very much.
Seems very nice. So yeah, I guess, again, I don't play a lot of PvP. I think you play a lot more than I do, but one thing I know is you don't skip Stalkers and you don't skip Immortals. If you don't have Immortals, you're pretty much going to die.
That's true. But I'm going to be straight up with you. I have no idea how to play PvP. It's just...
I mean, you know the opening, though, yeah?
Not really. Like, I take my gases at the wrong time and everything, and... Yeah.
Tell me you don't make Zealots. Just tell me that.
Sometimes I make a lot of Zealots. Zealots are good. Oh my gosh. But I don't open with Zealots, no.
Yeah. You got your 2 gates. You can do pretty much anything there. Sentries, Stalkers, obviously Adepts are pretty great too.
You gotta go for your 2-gate wall. That's pretty much the only rule.
Yeah.
2-gate wall, 2 gases, later expand. Usually you try and expand in a PvP, you're gonna die. Early anyway.
Absolutely. But yeah, Adept Harass is good. You can show defensive play with some Oracles, or Sentries. Obviously, Oracles are good offensively.
One star balloon coming in from QKRWLGUS7612. Thank you very much. Probes chasing each other around. PtitDrogo going for the Stalker and the Sentry. Hurricane going for the 2 Adepts. Oh, cool moves from PtitDrogo. Blocking that probe in, ensuring its death, whereas his probe escapes.
Laughing is a notorious Zealot rusher.
I plead the 5th.
Even after the nerf? Even after the charge nerf?
I mean, Zealots are still good. Zealots are still dead.
They are
still Zealots. Like, what was even the change? They don't deal the damage on the charge now.
Yeah, it used to be 8 damage when they make contact, which is 8 damage before you even start hitting. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but they're so quick, though.
Yes, true.
They are so quick. They just sprint across the map. They're as fast as, like, stimmed Marines. It's nuts.
They are, and speed is really important in any RTS, so I can see why that
is.
Yeah, I can see why it could be argued it was actually positive overall for the unit.
I mean, it's nice when you're going for, like, harassment and stuff. Like, it's like, oh no, he's actually countering my harassment. I'm gonna run my Zealots out, and they get away just fine.
You can't let those Adepts in there. Okay, alright.
Apparently you can.
You can, if you have force fields ready to go there, but... Yeah, I mean, usually getting a couple Adepts in there is bad news, but that was held exceptionally well.
Yeah, that was 1 Sentry for 2 Adepts. I'll take that trade, particularly since PtitDrogo made a 2nd and a 3rd Sentry. It's not like he doesn't have a way to scout or anything. And he's actually going to push across the map with his handful of units. Okay, does Hurricane have enough to actually defend versus this? He's going to have an Immortal popping out, but he could be caught off guard a little bit. He's got 3 very exposed Sentries right now. Meanwhile, the Adepts are going to help pick them off. This is really bad for Hurricane.
Yeah, this is actually kind of an impressive attack. We're looking at the attack doing very good damage here. A couple probes going down. Obviously, the Immortal, as I mentioned earlier, is key to shutting this down.
Yeah.
As neither Sentries nor Stalkers want anything to do with an Immortal here.
2 probes and 3 Sentries is well worth it for PtitDrogo, just realizing that his opponent may have cut units. One of those odd-timed attacks that just kind of randomly works. And playing out of the ordinary is an important part of Starcraft too, so things are going a little bit hectic right now as the Stalker tries to turn and engage, but...
How often do you see Adepts take down a Stalker? That was pretty good.
Not often.
Not often. I mean, it was already dead, but you know, still pretty cool.
Hey, that adept, she's telling all of her friends that she killed a stalker.
Absolutely. And then the other adept's like, hold on. I was there.
Just the adept that always exaggerates.
Yeah.
It was huge. It was 30 feet tall.
Took it down, almost died. PtitDrogo is getting Resonating Glaives, which I haven't seen a lot in PvP, so that seems fine.
Not just Resonating Glaives, but Resonating Glaives and 5 gateways.
Oh yeah. Feels pretty too basey.
Warp Prism on the way.
Loving that.
Hurricane, we're going to be moving out with his mortals in a prism.
While PtitDrogo's army is away. So, could do a little bit more damage than it should, unless that Warp Prism sees the other one. They might actually cross paths here. Oh.
See, Hurricane's pulling back. He's recalling because he's worried.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's actually going to have enough to stop this, because Immortals are really good, but they don't deal a lot of damage versus Adepts.
They don't. And I mean, PtitDrogo has his own here, too. And Resonating, look at this warping of 6 Adepts. Army supplies 48 to 21 for Drogo right now.
Yeah, this is kind of nuts. I love the addition of cannons and shield batteries for Hurricane, but I don't know if it's going to be enough in time. Looks like the sentries get picked up. The cannons are trying to put out as much damage as they can.
Yeah, the force fields are pretty good here defensively, keeping the Immortals away from the army, but the Adepts doing serious damage, especially versus those Zealots. Wow, Hurricane backing on up. The Immortals are outputting terrible damage. One Immortal, PtitDrogo's is almost dead, but not quite there yet. Probe's getting pulled, losing massive numbers of probes. 11 down.
Yeah,
and
this is bad news. PtitDrogo.
Drogo.
Going 1-0 in the series.
I gotta say, for someone who didn't know he was playing in this until like 10 minutes ago, he's looking pretty good.
He's looking really good.
Yeah, so the Resonating Glaive change was reverted. They tried a thing where after a Shade, it did additional speed on the attacks, and then Protoss were like, this sucks, and they just went back to the normal. I always forget, is it 40 or 45%?
I want to say 45.
I want to too. I'm gonna look.
Weren't they also like toying with increasing the HP or something of the Adepts as well, or?
I think they talked about it. I don't think they ever did. And it is 45% on the attack upgrade. So, Resonating Glaives, good upgrade.
Okay, so we're going to be continuing on here. It is PtitDrogo taken on Hurricane. Map number 2.
Yeah, and a bit of an upset there in game number 1. So that was nice. We're on Ephemeron, the latter edition, for game number 2 here. A bit of an odd map in the pool, just a little bit. But I don't think, again, in PvP, I really don't see it factoring into the setup here too much, but it could.
All right. Here we are, in the top left-hand side of the map. He's the French Protoss practicing in Korea. It's PtitDrogo.
And in the bottom right, he's red. He is also Protoss. It's Hurricane.
Alright, so we're just going to continue on here. Watch this match go. And ladies and gentlemen, check out Falcon Paladin and I on Twitter and whatnot. We do lots of announcements and things there.
Yeah, and if you want to know when the next Afreeca World's going to be, that's the best place to go. Is to follow us on Twitter. We will both tweet about it at least 2 times before the event. So if you follow us, that's the best way to do it. I obviously put up a video on YouTube prior to going live out here, but the best way to know kind of earlier on when this is going to happen is going to be on Twitter.
Yeah, really it is. And then something that I'm excited to say that just for, I guess, fun we're working on is the next Afreeca World might be a 2v2 tournament.
That sounds like a ton of fun. Holy smokes. Let's please do that.
And some of the teams are going to be looking pretty good, I think, so far. So
sweet.
Keep an eye out for that. What about Discord? Yeah, Falcon Paladin and I both have Discords that you can find.
We sure do. There is a pylon over there for Hurricane. That really feels Stargatey to me.
Oh, it does.
Sneaking on in that left side, coming up into the main. Nobody expects it from coming that way.
Nope.
Nope. Fusion flares here because of my YouTube video, so that's
Hey.
awesome. Glad people watch those.
Yeah, and if you're watching and you don't have an account, feel free to make one on Afreeca TV. We do enough of these events. Come and chat.
Yeah, and you can log in with any number of accounts you already have. You don't have to make one unique to Afreeca. Like, I log in with my Twitter account. Easy peasy, one click. So Wolf says that Sue and Maru as a 2v2 would dominate until the finals. I'd watch that. I'd watch a Sue Maru 2v2 all day.
Oh, Sue and Maru, that would be a team. That would
Something
be
like a Cyril Dark would be nuts too.
Cyril Rayner would be nuts as well.
That'd be tons of fun. Although ZVZ, I always feel like is a bit at a disadvantage in 2v2. It's just nice being able to do different things because your teammate is Protoss or Terran.
Yeah,
A little bit limited in strategy in ZZ.
I think you are, but I think the favorite, like, actual teams is usually ZZ and at least Brood War, to my knowledge, for 2v2.
Alright, fair enough.
Like, anytime there's a tournament, pros will actually queue up because they actually make it so that there can't be two Zergs on a team.
Oh, I do remember hearing
in
about
2v2,
that. Yeah,
and
yeah.
Pros will actually queue up as random, hoping they get Zerg. Anyway,
That's so dumb.
here goes an Oracle, gonna be moving on into base of PtitDrogo, coming very early, gonna get 4 probes. Looks like it will get out as well. 4 probes is alright, I guess. It's nothing spectacular just yet. We'll see if there's any more damage. Adepts try and make it in. They just add 1 more probe kill.
Get in the house, but don't do a whole ton there. Falcon Ballad and Somicron team. We are not that good at 2v2. Not even close. Coming on in, just adding more to this probe kill count for Hurricane, really slowing down PtitDrogo immensely in that count. 28 to 23 workers now. PtitDrogo trying to make up, but being down that much this early, especially in a mirror matchup, is pretty hard to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what the follow-up is here for PtitDrogo as he starts a Twilight Council.
Yeah, we'll also see if Hurricane's able to add on any more kills with these Oracles. Like, they've done pretty good damage so far. It's not game-ending damage. But if he can even add on, like, say, 2 or 3 more worker kills and keep the Oracles alive, then he'll be in a very good spot. And he's looking for it, but so far not getting it.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you and Somnicrom have good teamwork, you guys can do it.
I mean, we have okay teamwork.
I think that's the most important part of 2v2. Like, you both can be really good at Starcraft too, but it's all about whether you work with your teammate or not.
Very true.
Oh, look at this.
Control. Oh, that's so
My
good.
bro, that was an IQ play from Hurricane.
That was just well executed for sure. But yeah, in team games, there's always going to be a time where one person's getting massacred by 2 people.
Yeah.
And you have to help them or you're just going to lose the game.
Yeah, or sometimes
that alone.
you just gotta let it happen. And just- sometimes you do, because sometimes you'll be able to go for, like, a better army or whatever.
Rarely. Very rarely.
Sometimes, like, if your teammate's getting killed, but you're a Terran who's teching up to Stim or whatever, but your opponents are just, like, cheesing, like, if you make it to Stim Bio and they don't have it or whatever, then there are situations which that's happened.
That's fair. I mean, I guess I come at it from a Zerg perspective, where
Yeah.
there's not really anything like that necessarily.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But yeah, for other races, I can totally see that.
Okay, I'm seeing a whole lot of gates and a whole lot of charge from both sides.
Loving it. Charge lots just mashing faces into each other in the middle of the field. It's going to be good. Hurricane going for that Templar Archives. Storm is pretty good in PvP. Archon's not bad either, actually.
Yeah, I think having the Templar Archives just for warping in the Archons is usually what it's for. Because you make a ton of Zealots, of course, so then you got a lot of gas. So then you make a lot of Archons, naturally.
Mm-hmm. Just folds right into itself. Very nice.
Hurricane does have +1 on the way. I'd say that's his slight lead kicking into effect. The fact that he squeezed that into the build and PtitDrogo didn't, I'd say that's where we're seeing this come from. But look at this! Another odd attack from PtitDrogo.
Wow, he is kicking butt right here. Oh my gosh,
this is nuts. Him just moving in with just a couple of Archons, his Prism, and just saying, it's showtime.
I love the hallucinated Archon here, too. That was great. Zealot's not going to do super well here. Yeah, a little bit better than I thought. Charge Lot's chasing on down. Archon's hiding out of that Warp Prism, which they must be low on shields, because I feel like they'd be useful here.
Reinforcements coming in for PtitDrogo, so he's going to turn around and take the fight here, potentially. His Archons are very injured, though.
Okay. Yeah. Pick those up if you can. But yeah, Zealots really do poorly against Archons. That bonus versus biological is so good.
More Zealots coming in for PtitDrogo.
Warp Prism taking some shots, but not quite dead yet. Nice warping of additional Zealots. And flanking on top of Hurricane Zealots.
The micro! The Prism trying to run away from that single Archon. Hurricane is winning out here, though, in the grand scheme of things, and I'm honestly putting that on top of his +1 attack there.
Yeah, especially in mirror matchups, having an upgrade advantage is massively important. Army supply is also favoring Hurricane at this stage. Got additional High Templar and Archons warping enough for PtitDrogo. And going to go for a bit of a counterattack at the same time, at least shutting down third base of Hurricane.
Yeah, I like that. You got to get something done of your PtitDrogo. Right now he is going to be microing with this Prism and these Archons, even if he can just get himself a couple of probes.
Yeah, there we go. 3 probes down. I'm liking it. He has a lead in the worker count now, thanks to that little bit of harassment.
Oh, there's a Phoenix, though. Oh, no. Hurricane made a Phoenix with his Stargate. This is bad. He's got to drop the Archons.
Kill it. Save. More Prism down.
He's got to recall these guys. He didn't recall.
It's too late for that now. It's not going to happen.
No, these Archons, I mean, they're pretty tanky, so they can run, but Zealots are pretty quick now.
Charges
that speed.
Yeah. Even on foot, they're catching up, which is that whole thing. Attack in PtitDrogo's main base, though. Hurricane trying to get something done. Effectively shut down, though.
I think if you're PtitDrogo, you got to go for, like, a Robo-Bay and build Disruptors or something. Because the way things are, he's not going to catch up in upgrades, and he's not going to catch up in army supply. So he needs something to come back, whether it be a good counterattack, but look at this. Phoenix being a pain.
As they often are. Phoenix very good at being a pain unit here. PtitDrogo attacking on in. Doesn't quite like what he sees at a 72 to 57 army supply difference for the Korean Protoss.
Does have the higher Archon count, which can definitely equalize it when there's just mass Zealots on his opponent's side. Still looking dicey, though.
Yeah, it's close. I mean, again, economy not too bad for PtitDrogo, but I say that, and then, of course, obviously, 3 or 4 probes are going to die here. If not more than that. I know, totally caster cursed him, my bad.
Alright, here's that engagement going down. It's going to be tough for PtitDrogo to take this. His huge Archon count can definitely help out versus all these Zealots. It's still going to be tough, though. He's microing his Archons in this Prism, but GG, that's it. Hurricane ties it up.
1-1 in this best of 5. Looking good. Hurricane held the early weird timing. There was definitely a hallucinated Archon in there or two, which I appreciated, but yeah, that was a tight game. It was just Hurricane was able to get a little bit more of an economy advantage, get an army advantage there, get the upgrade advantage, and then pull away there in the last, just about the last minute or so is when that really started to work out for him. Very, very tight game, nevertheless. And we'll see how this game number 3 will work out for us. Again, thanks for hanging out with us today here on AfreecaTV.com. Good place to see live StarCraft action. We're here about every 2 weeks. About every other week, often on the weekends is when that happens. Sometimes during the weekdays if we have something on the schedule, but very often a Friday night, Saturday, Sunday kind of a thing.
Good time for StarCraft. And now our next map, Triton. Isn't that a gum?
Trident.
Trident, okay. I was like, wait, that sounds familiar. And for some reason I'm thinking of gum.
But I think Triton has a trident, so it's a little confusing. Triton is a sea god.
Yeah, from The Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid, Greek mythology. It's actually the son of Poseidon. So in Little Mermaid, he's kind of like, you think he's the king of the sea? But he's more of a prince of the sea, according to the actual mythology.
Yes. I don't know. Who knows what Poseidon is doing?
I don't know what he's into these days.
All right, we'll make sure both the players are ready. Then we'll get into the next game. See who's going to take the lead in this best of 5.
Mass Muty in chat says, love the channel. Keep it up. You got it. Can do, will do. Gonna be out here. I mean, I cast a whole bunch of events out here. Gonna keep doing it. Really fun. Like casting with LaughNgamez. Like the players would get to cast. Honestly, tons and tons of fun.
Yeah, we have a great time out here. And we've been doing it for like, our Afreeca World's been going for like 3 years. Or so at this point. Something like that.
Dang.
All right. In the top left, he's tied it up. He's Hurricane.
And in the bottom right, also tied up, is PtitDrogo.
Hurricane got himself a nice lead there with that proxy Stargate. Wasn't like super game-ending damage, but it eventually did allow him to basically close it out and win the game.
So apparently in the original Little Mermaid, which is Dutch, the father is not officially Triton. He's just Sea King.
Oh, okay.
So Disney tossed on a little Greek mythology in there. I didn't know that. Thank you, chat, for educating me on
That is interesting. He's
the
just
Little Mermaid.
Sea god.
Yeah.
Fish
Mer
man.
King. I mean, it translates into something like that from Dutch. Who knows?
Okay, so mirror builds in a mirror matchup. Look at this Hurricane though. Probe taking the long way around. Is he gonna toss up a pylon? Oh, you sly dog Hurricane.
Loving it. He says it worked in game 1. Let's round 2 this thing. Yeah, and I mean, as much as I say PvP is fairly unpredictable right now in Starcraft 2, the openings is not. You pretty much have to open this way or you're going to die. From there on, you know, different stuff can happen, but you go for the 2-gate opening, you got the cyber core, you got your gas, and then do whatever you want after that. But until that point, do it. First 2 minutes are mirror.
Yeah. The double gateway is really just the most standout thing. Like, Protoss goes double gate opening in any other matchup. It's just a very bad idea. But in PvP, it's a complete necessity. And then even... Oh, it's not a Stargate this time.
Aha, Robo. Liking it. Eskimo in chat says, the Little Mermaid is in constant agony at the end of the story and doesn't get the prince either. Yeah. Old school fairy tales are pretty dark, man.
Yeah, they're brutal.
Disney came along and kind of prettied them up for mass consumption, but where they're getting it from is a lot of darkness and pain.
Yeah, he or Disney'd them up.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad at all.
No. Not that bad. Compared to a lot of other things Disney has done. We won't get into that, though.
Probably for the best. Probably for the best.
Stalkers pushing out from PtitDrogo, just checking to see if anything is coming.
You know that
Phoenix.
You know that like SpongeBob meme that's like 3 hours later or whatever. Yeah. That's exactly how it would be.
Another shield battery coming in. PtitDrogo sees this attack from Hurricane, sees the immortal, knows he doesn't have any immortal here, and he's in a lot of trouble, man. Immortals are worth their weight in gold in this scenario.
Oh, yeah.
Shield battery's already drained, which is bad news.
Yeah, PtitDrogo is warping in another 2 Stalkers. However, he's the one that's lost units, whereas Hurricane has been microing all of his back correctly. The shield batteries that are about to finish up can really turn this around.
True fact, the 2nd and 3rd do warp in now. They don't have that long of a warp in time, but when you're waiting for them, it feels like forever.
It does.
Coming again. Hurricane's going for round 2. That Immortal is fairly bruised, which is not great. He wants the Immortal to live forever, as its name would indicate. But trying to get on in with the Warp Prism. Gonna shuttle up into the main base here.
Oh, this is
the
risky.
ramp. The force field on the ramp.
Oh no, the
so
pylon
good.
though for PtitDrogo.
Oh, is that gonna depower? He's gonna depower both these warp gates. Nope, going after probes instead.
Oh, the prism could go down.
Yeah, nice micro pulling it back at the
this is
last
just
second.
bad.
This Immortal is just crushing it with 5 kills. Drogo gets 1 Immortal out, but he's lost 14 probes. His economy is toast.
Yeah, he's lost way too many workers here, and this is a prime example of why you don't expand quickly in PvP.
Yeah, definitely. It is super risky because this stuff happens. And army supply is 26-6, so that's a GG.
That's it. GG, Hurricane is the one who takes the lead.
The force field on the ramp. I remember the days before Ravagers existed, and Protoss would force field your ramp, and you, as a Zerg, would just salt.
That was a dark time.
It was a dark time for Zergs.
Yeah.
You just walk into your main base and go, force fields, and you're like, ah!
That
base is dead.
That was the most abuse Protoss could ever do.
It was pretty bad. Actually, I think building the 3 pylons at the base of the ramp into the main base was probably more abusive.
Yeah, plates were around before I joined, so...
Okay.
I never lived through that.
I only say it's more abusive because it was immediately patched. Like, as soon as that strategy got any kind of a foothold in the meta, Blizz was like, unbuildable plates, go. And anytime they have, like, an immediate response to something, you know it's pretty bad.
Yeah, sometimes, though, Blizzard, like, is very odd with their response to things. Like, sometimes they'll patch things that don't seem that big of a deal after, like, a week. And other times they'll patch things after, like, a year. Yeah,
I think, honestly, I feel like the pattern is stuff that affects early game, like, allows people to win games real fast and there's not much the opponent can do about it. That's the stuff that gets patched fast, and into the mid and into the later game it is, the more Blizz is willing to let it kind of play out. I don't know if that's true, but anyway.
Alright. In the bottom right-hand side of the map, it's Hurricane.
And in the top left, he is PtitDrogo.
Yeah, the thing that I'm still salty about, the one patch, was how quickly Blizzard nerfed Liberator anti-air.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I remember.
Maru won like 1 game in Pro League against Zest by using mass Liberators against Tempest, and Blizzard was like, no, we're shutting that down. Terran's not supposed to have a chance in the late game. And I was so sad.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from on that. So that's an example of a fast one. I mean, I guess the problem there is that Liberators are so good versus ground that having them be that dominant versus air too feels a little bit too much like the Warhound, right?
Yeah, I agree on that front, definitely. Like, Liberators were very, very good at the time, particularly since they were still pretty new and people didn't know how to play against them.
Yeah, but maybe let it play it out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is, though. I'll forever be salty, but, you know.
I do feel like one of the things Blizz has focused on in the history of StarCraft, including Brood War, is making it so that you can't just mass 1 unit and win. Which has been a plague a lot of other RTSs have experienced over the years, is a lot of multiplayer for other stuff is just like, who gets the most of this unit and they win. Which is not fun. Nobody wants that.
No.
So even like sniffing like this, you can go mass Liberator and win games is like, nope, out. So maybe a knee-jerk reaction for that reason.
Yeah, but then again, we had like years of Mass Raven, and then more recently, like the Mass Infester, and it is what it is.
That's true. I mean, Mass Raven.
It was a problem for a while.
I can remember like 5 games where Mass Raven won anything at the highest level. Obviously, Ketrock does his thing, but
I mean, like back in Heart of the Swarm, when they could just point Defense Drone and never die.
Oh yeah, that's a while ago. True facts. I forgot about that era of Mass Raven. Point defense drone. That's been a long time now.
That was back when Zerg didn't have a parasitic bomb for Vipers either.
Yeah.
So there was just
gross.
nothing they could do, really. Hurricane's doing his Hurricane cheesy stuff with his Stargate. This time, PtitDrogo, a little bit older, a little bit wiser. Oracle tries to push in, but it's not happening. So far, solid defense from PtitDrogo.
Yeah, he's looking much better in this game than he did in the last one. Shield battery in the mineral line's real nice. So he's oversaturated his mains so that he can transfer them down to the natural with a Maynard transfer. Not named after the current Australian Maynard, but another player from like 1999 named Maynard.
The Maynard transfer?
Yeah.
Enlighten me.
That's it. So he was the guy that initially was like, hey, when you have an expansion, you should move a bunch of workers from Maine down there. Like, not kidding. Nobody was doing
Really?
that. Uh-huh. Yep. He was the dude. I remember learning about it, like, freshman year of college. The dude's like, okay, so when your expansion's on, move down a bunch of workers. And I'm like, okay, that's weird, but all right.
But why?
He's like, it's called a Maynard transfer. And I'm like, ooh.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. That is how early this was in StarCraft.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that must have been early.
Yeah.
And he's forever a legend.
He is.
Oh, nice.
Good
Nice
snipe.
catch there.
I'll always remember him. I'm not sure anybody else ever will, but I remember that guy.
Well, to be fair, Artosis probably remembers too.
He probably does. Day 9 probably does.
All those old Brood War guys.
Yeah. So Hallucinated Phoenix is a perfect scout off, sees everything Drogo's going for, which is why you should hallucinate your Phoenix, Protoss players.
Just do it.
Scouting good. Just fly it over there. It's actually really hard for most things to kill one before it gets a full scout off on your stuff.
Yeah. And it's just a bit of energy, so it's wholly worth it. Now, Hurricane is looking to put the pressure onto his opponent. This could work out alright for PtitDrogo, though, because he does have sentries, so he can always force field Hurricane if he pushes too far in, and PtitDrogo actually just wants to fight right now. This might have been a mistake, though.
Yeah, pretty good force field placement there. Oracle does snipe down a sentry. Very nicely done.
Yeah, PtitDrogo got a little bit excited there, as his attack just, or his sort of interception didn't really work. Lost a fair few units for essentially nothing of Hurricanes.
It's a pretty good trade there. You can kill things and lose nothing. You're winning.
That is a net positive.
Sometimes StarCraft just comes down to economics, man. Like, I just cast a Brood War game that lasted for an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh.
In which the Protoss player killed 1,200 Zerg units.
What?
And the Zerg player killed 210 Protoss units.
That's
Guess who
efficiency.
won? Yeah.
No, the
It was
Protoss had to win, right?
He did. It was an insane game. Anyway, Archons in your mineral line is not great.
Archons and Zealots is really not great.
No.
These Zealots have charge. Hurricane doesn't even have his own charge, so this is actually going to be tough to clean up and to dislodge here. Meanwhile, PtitDrogo sending some units into the front, going for a bit of a multi-pronged attack. However, there's a counter from Hurricane, so this game's getting chaotic really quickly.
Yeah, both players losing probes, which actually, in this case, Hurricane has lost more. And there's not much defending back home for either player at this stage. So, I'm not going to call it a base race, but it's definitely both sides of the map are on fire at the moment. Both players' worker counts are plummeting, but essentially the same rate at this point.
Yeah, it's a little base racy, but oh, PtitDrogo tries to warp in some High Templar, and he actually just gets him picked off.
Aw, man.
Yeah. Look at this. We'll rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
Just PtitDrogo, yeah, he tries to warp in some High Templar, but Hurricane picks him off.
Yeah, his army was effectively nothing at
Yeah,
the end of that
1,
battle
2,
there.
3
So.
dead High Templar.
Yeah, Workers Active was like exactly the same, but army value was bloop, nothing left for PtitDrogo. So that's your 3-1 finish. Good opening from PtitDrogo. Couldn't quite finish it off there. That's okay. We appreciate him coming to hang out and participate anyway and give us some really fun PvP stuff, which we don't get a ton of, honestly, in the Afreeca. So thank you for doing that, PtitDrogo. You are our hero today.
He is our hero. Big thanks to him coming out. He won't be leaving empty-handed as anyone does in Afreeca World.
Correct.
And so we're going to throw to a quick break while these players do the vetoes. Looks like it'll be pretty quick as they're just racing through them. And it's time for probably a very good match, Innovation and Rogue.
Best CVT you'll see this month, guaranteed. Okay, maybe not guaranteed. What major events are this month?
We'll see in a few.